I love Sundays, y'all.
I love Sundays.
I love Sundays.
I love Sunday.
I like getting to just meet with my church family and reconnecting with God, chance to relax for the weekend and just kind of recharge to take on another week.
Sundays mean to me that we're all coming together in real community. That's so big for me.
Sundays mean for me is my getaway for the week. It's where I come and reset everything for my week. And I grow closer to God, I grow closer to my friends and family here. And I look forward to it so much.
I love Sundays.
I love Sundays! I love Sundays!
I love Sundays!
Awesome. Yep, we're in this is the last part of our I Love Sundays. Hopefully you've been encouraged. Did you see the thing when you come in on the wall and you got to read? Some of you did that today and you got to read, man, why do these people love Sundays? You know, a lot about church family, a lot about getting away, and just after a week of craziness, just to chill out, you know, a lot of that on there. So we've been looking at it. We've been looking how important the Sabbath is for us. How important it is for us to say, man, everything kind of gets crazy throughout the week, and we need a time for us to just come and chill out. So we've been looking at this, and we called it I Love Sundays. If you needed a little bit of a review, we said, man, Sunday should be the best day of your week. Really, it's something that when the Jews were looking at the Sabbath, God said, listen, observe it, like look forward to it, because it's going to be exciting. Yesterday I saw a post from one of my favorite people at the church. His name's Eddie, and he said, man, I just can't wait for Sunday. I can't wait. Whatever he was doing in the middle of, I don't know, but he's just like, I just can't wait for Sunday. And that's true, because Sunday should be the best day of our week. You know, Sundays, we said, make better Mondays. That's what they do. Sundays make better Mondays. And if you're doing Sundays right, if you're doing church right, if you're really involved, if you're really connected, then it changes your family. It changes your family. Many of you have great testimonies from this, where you were connected to a church. And it could have been here, it could have been somewhere at a different place, and you were like, man, we were really connected, and we saw it change our family. And we said, man, Sundays can change your eternity. Sundays can change your eternity. Because there's going to be a time where you're like, man, I came into a church on a Sunday, and this guy was talking about Christ, and they were singing songs about this Jesus guy, and I left there and I was interested, and I called and we talked about, think of the stories, the many stories of how a time on a Sunday morning when you took the time away changed eternity for you. And today, as we're talking about Sundays, Sundays should change your everyday. And here's the thing, we get kind of in this in our culture, where Sunday is the only really church day. Like Sunday is the churchy day. Like that's the day I am Christian, and then the other days kind of just are days. I want to tell you that way of thinking, is what put Christ on the cross. That way of thinking and when Peter in Acts 2 was preaching to anybody who would listen, what did he say? He said, hear this, repent, because the one you put on the cross is alive. And he said, those who put him on the cross are the ones who had Sunday and every other day of the week was just their own life. But Sunday, and that was the Pharisees. And we don't want to live that way. And so Peter said, that's over with. If we want to be a real community, if we want to be a strong community that's connected for a great cause, then our Sunday should change our everyday. And he said, so repent and be changed. And let it not just be on a Sunday. Let it be on a Monday. And let it be on a Tuesday that you're changed. And let it be on a Wednesday when you walk into a retail place and you are thinking about God and you share with someone about the power of the church. And let it be on a Thursday and on a Friday. And let it be changed on a Saturday. And Peter laid this out for everyone. And what happened in Acts 2? It became the church. And thousands of people were changed and baptized. And they said, what do we do? Like, what do we do now? I hear this message. And he says, repent. Repent. And you call on the name of the one who was raised from the dead. Remember a couple series ago, or last series, I was saying that the message was really clear. That he was crucified, he died, and he lives. Now repent. He did what he said he was going to do. And now he's alive. And many, it says, were cut to the heart. And they said, now what? And he said, now change. Change your every day. Those people who put him on the cross were just Sunday people. The people who live for him are everyday people. And so when Jesus was walking, he had this story. And I want to share this with you because if you are changed every day, then now you've been given, and this is a perfect day for this because it's volunteer appreciation, okay? And I got a huge thank you to those who are serving in the church, okay? Because you're going to hear this story because this for me, as I'm reading this, and I'm going to go pretty quick, is you. Some of you who are serving said yes to this. You said yes to, he's given me something to serve him with, and I'm going to use this, okay? Listen to this. So for the kingdom of heaven, what we're doing, what we're talking about, all of this, what we're singing about, is like a man traveling to a far country who called his own servants and delivered his goods to them. And to one he gave 5, and to another he gave 2, and to another he gave 1, to each according to his own ability. We all have talents. We all have something that we can do to change every day, right? And so immediately he went on a journey. Then he who had received the 5 talents went and traded with them. And he made another 5 talents. He did something with them, right? And then the one who had 2 talents gained 2 more also. But he who had received 1 went and got afraid. Kind of got paralyzed. Like, I don't know what to do. So I'm just going to dig a hole in the ground. And I'm going to plant it. Or not plant it. I'm going to put it in the ground and just cover it. After a long time, the Lord of those servants came back and said, well, what'd you do? Like, what did you do with what I gave you? I can see. You see it on my face? Like, you can see it on my face. Like, I don't think he was like, what did you do? You know, like, what did you do with what I gave you? I think it's kind of like great expectancy. Like, I've given you something great. So what did you do with it? So he who had received 5 talents came and he said, look, I've got 5, man. I was out using the passion and the talents that you gave me. You delivered me, and then I delivered it to you 5 talents. He said, look, I've gained 5 more talents besides them. His Lord said to him, well done, my good and faithful servant. Well done. And the one with 2, right? The one with 2 came. He said, look, I've got 2 more, Lord. I went and I did it. And his Lord said to him, well done, my good and faithful servant. I will make you ruler over many things because you have been faithful with a few things. Like, you're wondering, like, what's the time? If we're changed, if we're really changed, and it's not just Sundays, but if we're really changed, like Peter said, then change your everyday, then we go out and we say, what can I then do with what you've given me? What can I do? How can I be faithful? And each one of us want to hear the Master say to us, right? The Master say to us, not just the end when we come into the gates, but like, you know that if you're serving God, you feel that, right? You feel that when someone has come through the door and you've greeted them and now you see them and their family's changed, you know God is saying, well done. Well done. I've given you the talent to be sweet and with a great smile, and you're using it. I've given you the talent to run a lawnmower, and you're out there mowing. I've given you the talent to be with some snotty-nosed kids and South kids, and you're doing it, and they're changed. Well done. And we feel like, man, that's it. That's what I want. But see, at times, sometimes, we don't do it. And then the one who received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew you'd be a hard man. Even though your disposition is excited and everything, I knew you'd be a hard man, reaping where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. And I was afraid, so I went and hid. And I didn't do anything. The Lord answered him and said, man, you're lazy. And you're wicked. That's tough, isn't it? When we hear that, you're like, don't read that, Pastor. That's like bad stuff. We were like singing happy songs and everything. You're like, don't read that part. I can't not read that part. Because that's the part when Peter stood in Acts 2 among everybody that cut to the heart and said, man, I don't want to be a lazy and a wicked servant. I want my Father to say, well done. Well done. And so here's the deal. Here's the part I'm excited about. And here's why I want to thank you. For those of you who have said, I'm serving. For those of you who have said, yeah, I'm out there and I love it and I feel like I'm using the passions that I want to thank you. Because many of us wonder what comes from it. Like, really, like what comes from it? Like I'm sitting in there with the children or if I'm cutting grass on a Saturday and there's no one here and I'm out here in this back field where really does anybody look at? And some guy came out here this week, I won't embarrass him, and just mowed 5 acres of muddy back field. And we're like, what comes from that? Like really, when I'm serving, what comes from that? Is there anything greater that comes from that than when somebody gets in here? And one of them, my son. So the thank you. And you're like, what comes from it when we serve? Is it just to feel good, that God would say, here's when I feel like he says, well done. So in just a moment, for all of you who have been, and you're going to get like chicken sandwiches and burgers and hot dogs in a minute, like and you'll go out in a minute and you'll get a gift and all of that, right? But in a moment, when John and Teresa and Ty get into this water with me, it is the answer to your question of what does it mean when I serve? What does it mean when I've changed my everyday? What does it mean when I've said I'll become a better husband? What does it mean when I've been cut to the heart and I'll speak to my children differently? What does it mean when I won't be different at work than I am at church? What does it mean when I've sacrificed my finances and said, God, I'm going to be faithful? What does it mean when we've changed the way we talk in our language at school? What does it mean, God? Well, in a moment, when they get in the water, that's what it means.